So to me, I would prefer the security or the privacy of my entity to be governed by AI.
And sometimes you just receive a proposal, and when you try to also type in the same thing, it gives you AI from the background to the confusion.
Some people have made also other AI tools that detect AI. So you're using AI, this person you used AI to detect and find where it is almost all copied and pasted, and they will reject it. So this is with the world of looking for proposals or like
everything that we do now was once new, like AI. The computers we are using, the softwares, all those things were new. They were not Africans. And we all learned them, and today we are using them. Even the microphone we are using now wasn't there before. But today, we were introduced to, and we are using them.
First, invite my panelists, and then we can be able to start this conversation. Panelist number one is David Benjamin Jinana, all the way from South Sudan. Another round of applause. The man across 2 rivers. All right, I'll start with the internationals because for us here in Uganda, we are near. I'll invite the next one, Doris Ollela from Kenya, student for Liberty. I'll also invite Ibraheem under Action for Liberty and Economic Development. And then, lastly, I'll invite a researcher and a political analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Afro Liberty Talks, a program by African Justice Media. This program is by African Justice Media and is a space where young people have time and conversation to debunk ideas and to also have constructive civic dialogue. Uganda as a country, there is a high rate of unemployment. And one of the things that is scaring young people, it is what is going to be the future of work. How are the opportunities going to be created? And of course, how is AI going to help us? Many young people fear that AI is going to take away most of their jobs. However, there are those who are so constructive and hopeful that AI is going to create many opportunities. And with me today, you see we have a rich panel, and we are going to be able to debunk some of these narratives and get something good out of it. So I'm going to start with Elem Rodini. When you hear the word the future of work, AI, skills and opportunity in Africa, what comes first in your mind?
One thing I know about life is that we're always trying to solve a problem, but every problem we try to solve gets other problems to be solved. So AI comes with its own challenges and other future prospects, but we look at it as an opportunity that can spread all other angles. Just like give an example. Some people might say that someone has constructed a university in their land and they will now affect them in a certain way, but in nature. But realize that when you construct a university, people will get capital to build hostels, people will get capital to create those small businesses, restaurants and everything. And before you know it, the university is being covered up, or it is being surrounded by good buildings, good businesses that are thriving. That's how also AI happens to be. At first, it comes as a threat because we as human beings, we are always risk averse. We are always scared about change. Changes creates an anxiety within us. That's why some scholars came up with a theory called the risk society theory. The assumption that anything that comes in new could create a risk, and it might create other problems. You get? So that's how we still perceive AI. But right now, we are now seeing what AI can do and what other people are using it to do. In other countries, they're still using even AI to fight wars with drones. in Uganda here, people are using AI to make stories, to create stories on TikTok. Others are now using them to even make songs. Now the challenge is that sometimes creativity is lost in the process, you get? Because since AI can automate some of the procedures of products or even make things, you will end up losing the centerpiece of what it means to make it unique to others. Because when you make a song with AI, the other person makes a song with AI, they will all look similar in a certain way. So what makes yours different is now your human touch. So I believe that AI should be seen as a tool, not as an end in itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elem, for those thoughts. But before I move on to Ibraheem, by show of hands, how many people here have used AI before? Or how many people haven't used AI? So it means that we are going to have a nice discussion. So let's move on to the youth leader of FDC and also works with Ali. So we want to find out from you the same question. When you hear about the future of work, opportunities, skills, and AI in Africa, what comes in your mind briefly?
Briefly, I see scarcity of job opportunities. For example, you saw the photos that I sent in the group having the 11th Africa Liberty Camp. That was AI generated. We never put on those shirts, and actually they are not available here. But you see that instead of going to someone maybe doing graphics and stuff, I just put in my chat GPT and it did the job and no one could notice. So it's like AI is taking up the spaces that actually could have given other people. However, it creates a developed country. For example, even in Africa, for example, for me, I take such a result to be the most developed country in Africa. However much it can be a debate to different people that would say that is South Africa. But if you go and Google up something, you can find out that Seychelles actually is more developed than South Africa. Reason being that the system that they are using actually is generated by the AI and the formalization of resources. So to me, I see system opportunities and as well the development that's not nurtured by humanity.
Okay, let's move on to Doris, the same.
Thank you so much for the question. AI. Okay, when I hear about AI and the future of work, generally, I'm meant to think about fear of the unknown because everyone, as much as currently we are more into embracing AI, but people are still afraid because it's being caused by readiness. We are not ready to embrace it fully. Just like we've been talking about the issue of AFCFTA. Okay, we keep on advocating for it, but so far, how many countries have embraced it? We keep on talking about AI, but how many organizations have so far embraced it? They are using it into their day-to-day engagements. So that is what I am into, the readiness of it and fear of the unknown.
Okay. Then Dinana?
Thank you so much. I think I buy the idea of my colleagues, but I will also be on a different version. As a founder of an organization, I see it as an opportunity because the money I've been investing in building the capacity of people will not be used for other investment. Because
you're saving.
Yeah, so I'm saving and I'm doing better things because I developed their capacity, they ran away. So it's an opportunity for me. And it's also going to be an avenue for critical thinking. Now that I don't have a job, what should I do? And people will be creative to think of what to do next. Thanks.
All right, so you said you were leader of a think tank. Some people say that AI will actually centralize power. Others say AI will actually decentralize power. So as a leader of a think tank, what do you think about that?
Thank you so much. Yesterday, Francis was talking about the judgment in the AI tools. So some of the things the AI might not judge appropriately. And have a think as a founder of an organization, I also have to bring in the human aspect of judging what the AI has generated.
Okay, allow me move on to Elem because he mentioned an important aspect of humanity in using AI. But he said that for him, he would prefer Ibraheem he would prefer using AI because it is going to help him to make sure that he achieves the work that he would have given other people, like he did the t-shirts. And she's also saying that actually people are not ready for AI. So he's saying that the designers, let's say coders, graphic designers, no longer have a job. So how do you bring that element of what they are actually agreeing to?
I want to relate to how formalization of businesses has always happened. Because at a certain point where people felt like, the more a country develops, the more the informal sector dissolves or disappears. But we've even seen that, even our professor pointed at it, that in Europe, almost one of a third of it is still informal in nature because of fears of taxes and all that. So that's how even AI creates that challenge. The assumption that when AI comes in, most of the businesses will take it in and people lose jobs. No, there'll still be a large, vast sector of the economies that will never, either due to fear or due to even the cost, because getting an AI tool that will automate some of the things is even much expensive, apart from the ChatGPT that you get for free and all that. But an element that you should consider is, like, give an example when Zuckerberg came up with that the glasses that really can visualize things, People said that this would revolutionize the economy, people will buy into it, but the thing failed. You get. So we must look at it in this angle that not that every technology that comes in, everybody will adopt it. At least for smartphones, we have. But even machineries for industrialization, very few people have the capital to acquire them. You get. So it comes with AI. People are ready to use them, but some of them also are fearing the costs of building an authentic AI tool that can push for some of the things. So it is true that you can fear that some of the things are going to be affected in all ways, but what an economist or what a capitalist thinks of is efficiency. So efficiency might come to cutting down costs of production. Now, if you start your business, even though you're as human as what, or you care for people or employing people, reach a point where you also fear for the costs because you don't have all the money to provide for what you want to provide. So sometimes you have to cut costs. So in that aspect, you might use AI in some other sectors or in some other angles of developing drafts of your documents and all that. Or even proofreading your documents or the contracts you're trying to sign. So I believe that it will be useful in a certain sector, but not entirely useful for your production or for your businesses. Thank you.
Okay, two important arguments came up from what Elem just said. But then, if we try to think around, Ibraheem, you are working with a liberty organization, and it is advocating for freedom, for individual freedom, individual privacy being a right. And some of you, all of you said actually that you use AI, and you realize that when you type in AI, it still remembers what you typed. So, as a libertarian, how sure are you that your data is safe? Because some people believe that it's going to give governments and these mega companies power against your information, your privacy. Some people don't even speak to counselors. Any issue they have, marriage, business, they put in one chat in ChatGPT, and they keep remembering whatever you actually typed a long time ago. So as you who said that actually AI is going to help us to be more efficient, and yet you are promoting liberty, what do you say about that?
To me, I would say that there is no freedom is liberty and liberty is freedom, and there is no diplomacy without democracy. So I have the liberty to use what I want, however much it doesn't affect someone else. I'll give an example. There is have you anyone who has ever visited Continental Hotel in Mombasa? Ollela, that's your country. Actually, they use robots to come into your room. You're there seated, it knocks the door, delivers something. You get what I'm telling you? So it is you to know what you want, when and where. Because you cannot tell me that you can deny me freedom of using what I want because you don't see it's needful or it's used to yourself. But to me, I see how it is. Then when you go back to data, you have the AGI, it's called the Automated General AI Intelligence. You can use that. Okay? Because how they know these are the ones that you use, it has the face, those who use iPhones, you know, it uses the face ID recognition, it's used over scanning, the thumbprints. Those are the ones that mainly here we use, mostly in Africa. But if you try to travel around different countries, you may expect that it is the system that is put to see that at least work can be done better. So to me, I would prefer the security or the privacy of my entity to be governed by AI. If at all you have, as yesterday I had a presenter who said that you can command, you can add events. Even if you're trying to type on using your phone, ChatGPT, you pay for an extra mile that can do something. But if you do use your AI, these normal ones, the WhatsApp or ChatGPT, you get, of course, dirty work. But if you pay for it, you get extra work.
So let's get a perspective from Kenya. I know that there are those who are following us online. And if there's any young person listening all the way from Kenya or any other country in Africa, the question should be, because we cannot say I should come or should not come, it is already here with us. So what would you advise a young person to thrive in this current, dynamic society where we have AI and everything, automation? Yes.
Wow, thank you so much, George. And apart from young Kenyans, maybe I can start with every one of us sitting around this place. Because just as you said, AI is already here with us. It's not a giant that we are talking about that has been prophesied. It's already here with us. So what we really need to do is embrace it as it is, and also maybe empower ourselves more to know how it's operated and get enough skills that will enable us to know how to use it wisely. Currently, I'm the regional coordinator for Africa Students for Liberty, and most of the times I'm handling event proposals across the entire continent. And sometimes you just receive a proposal, and when you try to also type in the same thing, it gives you AI from the background to the conclusion. And sometimes you just tell someone, okay, using AI is good, but can't you use it in a wise or a better way? Because someone will even live in that place that indicates that, would you like me to, and then you are like, to edit more or to give you a better perspective of things. So we need even to be wise on how we use it. Yes, it's good and it gives us benefits, just as my brother has said. But are we using it in the right way so that we can get the results out of it?
So what does that speak to human creativity? In the next 10 or 20 years, if we still use it, will humans still have that creativity? If someone, every idea they get, they just put in, copy and paste, they send it. What does that speak to human creativity?
Okay, for human creativity, the human creativity will keep on advancing for the betterment of the future. So even in the creativity aspect of it, again, we apply wisdom, not just copying and pasting the way it is. At least even you, George, you also have your idea. Don't just totally depend on what technology is offering. Give your insights also.
So let's go back to an African man. He said he's African and he's doing things African. We understand that actually AI is majorly being built by companies outside Africa. If they are training the machines, they are training them in different languages. They are not trained in African languages. What kind of perspective should an African be having right now? What could be the fears and worries?
Great. Everything that we do now was once new, like AI. The computers we are using, the softwares, all the things were new. They were not Africans. And we all learned them, and today we are using them. Even the microphone we are using now wasn't there before. But today, we were introduced to, and we are using them. Like my sister was saying and other colleagues were saying, it's just making better use of the technology and also adapting to the situation. The reality is there, it is already with us. We just need to make sure that we adopt it and use it to our own context. And it creates for us all to think. We have to think critically. We don't need to use them like that. Because it was created by other people. We also need to be innovative and make things more humanized.
Okay, allow me move to Elem. Most of the times, Africans, when we speak about innovation, we want to build mobile applications. And I've heard you several times speak about that innovation is not all about building mobile applications. So, as young entrepreneurs in Africa, how best do you think they can be able to use AI but not copy and paste Silicon Valley to build their businesses and also solve African problems?
I don't remember trying to discourage innovations. I don't know how you are trying to do that. What I would simply say is that creativity, just like give an example, when in the old days people normally cut trees down with axes. So strength was one thing, but the other thing will also be the idea or like the wisdom of knowing where the tree will fall. But when the machines were invented to cut trees, people had to adapt. But it didn't change the fact that people are still physically strong for doing other things. I think also with AI it comes with those issues. We might diversify some of our intelligences in other sectors, but truly we are scared for this because most of the people right now, even with research right now, people just put things on ChatGPT, they pay that premium subscription, and it does for them the work. And these days we have machines. That's the unique thing about building new solutions. They come with other problems, and also other problems also cause other solutions. Now people have made also other AI tools that detect AI. So you're using AI, this person you used AI to detect, and finally it is almost all copied and pasted, and they'll reject it. So these days with the world of looking for proposals, or making proposals to get funds, you'll see when your work is all not yours, and probably that's what people hate. People like authenticity. So the truth is that you can use AI for research, but don't use it as an end goal for getting what you should get. Or maybe if I take you to the village where people don't even scan work, they just sign and do what, that's when you can use it. But that will also create issues in future because it becomes habitual. It becomes a habit that you can just copy, paste, and send to anywhere. So the problem is that while we encourage innovation, we must be very careful. With what we're using. Just give an example of a gun. Even the military sector that encourages its soldiers to use guns also taught physical strength and skills to fight in war if at all you don't have a gun. So sometimes, even as a doctor, you don't only rely on the tools, you can also rely on your experience and knowledge about how the medical sector operates. And I think that's what we should encourage also in these other sectors. You can use AI as a tool, but don't use it as an end goal for whatever you're using it for. So even as a soldier, you can't only use a gun to fight or to shoot. Sometimes you can also use your strength if at all the guns are not there, all the bullets are done. So that's what we should be. That's the perception that we should have. Even as we use AI, we should be creative in a way that sometimes I can get this. If you want to know that AI is also very controversial, try to type the same thing in two different Copilot, ChatGPT, and maybe Gemini. Different kinds of answers, or in different perspectives or framings, But realize that there's always a difference, So if I told you to send all this work to somewhere, someone might also look at it and know that it's not you. Some people whose English might also be just judged by the fact that I've written something that is too complicated for them to explain. So you must be very careful to know what you're using it for and how to keep some originality towards yourself in whatever you're trying to do.
Okay, let's move on to a youth leader. We know that actually AI and devices are so expensive, and it is creating, for us to avoid creating the digital divide between the connected youth and youth who are not connected at all. I would say from a humble background. And right now as we speak, you know how data is expensive in Uganda. I don't know for Kenya and Sudan, or if you people have free lunch government system where they give public hotspots like in Dubai, but now for Uganda specifically. And the hotspots which have been established by the entrepreneurs trying to solve that challenge, they have been shut down because the UCC of recent announced that all public hotspot businesses will be cancelled because of licenses and in any way trying to compete the big giants like MTN, Airtel, and the way they sell their data. So how would we really close that gap?
Thank you. I think it's a matter of view to know what exactly. Actually, I'll give an example here. Many youth here have phones about 500,000 but don't work. Have I lied? Majority of us, we have phones worth 500,000 but we don't work. If you can afford a phone of 500,000, there is how you can afford data of 2,000 or 1,000. However, the government, those in charge, those in power, should at least sit down and try to put at least laws or principles with companies that sell data. For example, when you go to Zimbabwe, Chichala village, data is just given free of charge from the government, but what do? They deduct based on your money that you put on your phone. They deduct monthly on your monthly salary. Those that have what? Salary, that they earn salary. So you're free at home to use data anyhow. Like they brought these lines of places like mobile lines. No, there is another Savannah lines. The way Savannah introduced a system that is going to be working here, I think that is another way of that gap to do what, to eliminate that space. Because Savannah brought in lines that you can just pay maybe 15,000, you enroll out. Or even this, to introduce the system of using the speculum plug, you know it. Actually, use it at the political party FDC there, whereby if they introduced it, I think, 2 months back. So it is a system where leaders can come at a party, you just log in, you sign somewhere, you log in, then you just use data free anyhow. So it goes around Najana Kumbi area, in not more than 200 meters, access it freely. So I think the government should set up principles with those companies, the big companies, so that they can find a way that they can utilize that gap between the space.
Okay, allow me to move to Doris for this last round of questions. Our education system, for example, you realize that our system was not built for AI. And you see other countries abroad, it's only Victoria University in here in Uganda. I don't know for Kenya, but really African education systems were not built for AI. So how do you think young people can thrive in that kind of setting?
Thank you so much. I love this particular question. It was actually a discussion that I had earlier this year with some tech gurus from Moshi Cooperative University in Tanzania. So that there is actually gap in when it comes to AI literacy. And one of the ways that we can really be able to achieve this so that we include everyone in this space, we can be having workshops like a forum like this whereby we get tech gurus who can be able to equip young people with the knowledge and skills that they need for them to thrive in this space. We also have, we thank God for technology because nowadays, wherever you are, even at the comfort of your home, you are able to access the internet. And we can even have virtual forums, virtual sessions, whereby people can be able to be equipped and get the necessary skills that they need in order to advance in this particular field.
Okay, let's move on to Benja. Many young people fear that actually AI will take my job. They are in fear, they are in dilemma, but the AI is already here. So how would you advise them or encourage them to actually not fear and use AI to create more opportunity?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. It's very clear the law of attraction says what you think about is what you do. If they are thinking that the AI is going to take their jobs, they will definitely take. And my sister has put It's very clear, the fear of the unknown. We have to study and get into it. We have been talking about entrepreneurship. These are people who are taking risks. That is a risk that we are going to take. And that's it.
Okay, I'll begin with you. One final one. Just a piece of advice that you could give to any young person here to thrive in this digital era of AI. Just a piece of advice.
Don't be afraid of this era coming. That is a piece of advice. Look into the unknown.
Okay, moving on to Doris. Don't be afraid of this era coming.
Okay, thank you so much. So AI is here with us. Let's embrace it. It's either you are on the table or you are at the menu. Thank you.
Okay, Ibraheem.
Thank you. For me, I would say if you want to jump, better far, jump from a point where you think it is inevitable for you to jump, but don't just jump anyhow. So if you're going to use AI, know how and why.
If you break your leg. Yes.
Yeah. Doris said that we thank God that this technology is with us instead of saying that she thanks white people. Yeah, it's indeed an element of our possession, but we understand that we as a country or as a continent, we really need to also train our own, invest. There's a scholar one time made this prediction in 2016 where he told us about how AI was now going to invade spaces. And he said that while China is already planning to invest 1.5 billion, USA is investing 1. African leaders are there shouting that they are very wise, with their champagne glasses, enjoying their champagnes, but they are not investing anything into what AI. It's the space. And one thing we must know about governments is that most of the groundbreaking researches are done by the military sectors of government. Even the drones were not invented by just an entrepreneur who was very creative. Some of these things are just patterns that are bought from the what? From the government, or even given.
So what would you
So what I'm
advise
trying
a
to say
person?
is that because it needs capital, but such investments must be done in Africa, either by our own people or by investors. But one thing I've also realized that when it comes to AI is already learning. It learns. If I don't go to YouTube and you see the comments in Luganda, it can translate into English. It is already learning the language. So one thing I should say that it's not already localizing itself in every sector. So we should be worried, and sometimes should be this. Can use it for our
So the young people should be worried. Thank you. So thank you very much, my distinguished panelists. And I understand very well that communication is always not complete without the feedback from you, our audience. So we are going to have 3 people. We are going to give 3 people a chance. You've heard very well from them, and you are going to pose just 3 questions. Anyone to move the microphone?
Ibra was talking about Zambia, where Zimbabwe, where the government is giving free internet. But Ibra did not tell us at what cost. Where is the government getting money? Government cannot give anything without stealing from someone, without taking from someone.
Okay, that is the question. So he's going to respond to it, please.
According to our virtues, government has no incentives or has no source of giving free things. There is no free lunch.
Okay.
So government should get out of the way. It should not give anybody anything free. That is the principle.
2 of you have been saying that the young people should get worried that AI is here. Why do you think we should get worried? And if there's any other option you can give us to see that we can counterattack the era of AI, to see that the worry disappears, what would be that thing you can advise us to do? Because you seem to know more about AI, we know less.
Okay.
My question goes to Elem. Elem is attended the STEMA School of Social Sciences. I just wanted to ask, how should young leaders reskill themselves right now to ensure they remain economically independent and free non-AI-driven economy? Thank you.
I've seen AI, I think it's some disadvantage, especially for people who have just finished campus. You find that someone cannot even develop a personal statement, something that you can develop by yourself. Someone tells you, talk about yourself, and then you go to AI. So how will that help people become innovative? Like when you're talking about yourself, you have to come up with innovative approaches and like talk about the real you. So do you people think that AI is going to help people become more productive or less productive?
On your phone. 90% they thought AI is chat GPT. And everyone was saying proposal, this and that, everything is, but it was almost chat GPT which you can get free. But AI is beyond that. But I want to ask this, is AI going to make us more smart or more dumb? Oh, okay, thank you very much. Please, you have one minute and we end this discussion.
Artificial intelligence is something developed to fasten work. Now, in this economy where we have high levels of unemployment and less opportunities to really thrive in other sectors, I think using AI should just be out of luck, that you would know basically how to use it. The most challenging thing is that most times whenever we are given the easy route to something, we tend to think that that is the way it is. But indeed, the challenge is that someone one time said that it's not about the wealth that you achieve at the end of it all. It's the journey to the wealth, you know. So achieving information or knowledge without having that hardness of reaching out to that makes it look like it's just easy, you know. So using AI should be just out of the fact that you can use it to automate some things. Like, give an example. I was telling that people now are making songs. They are making stories on YouTube, or even TikTok. But when you tell them to recite the story in real life, they can't. You know, it is AI doing everything. So I think now what we should look at is how do we use it in other sectors that may not affect our creativity, our thinking, our ideological upbringing, or let's say even developments. Because as I was talking earlier, I was saying that it's not like totally good. It has other challenges that also include creativity. Because when it comes to how you write and how you present yourself, I talk about originality. So there's some things that might just be seen and they'll be like, this is not Doris writing, or this is not Joram writing, this is not him. Okay. So it is something that should be put into consideration.
Okay. Let's move on to Ibraheem. You respond to your question.
Thank you. I just want to respond to Joram. Joram, there is nothing for free. Those who upload videos on YouTube, TikTok, you understand that per 1 million view, you get $30,000 per 1 million view, if you all know that. So in Zimbabwe, what the government did, there are more people that are using their channel, you get, the more they are. I think you could get that if you can relate. And there's also a website called, is it Ultravan? If you try to search about it, the more time, or the more, actually that's the one that I use actually to earn some money. The more time you own it, you earn 4,000 per 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's all open.
So people are doing this. People are going to reach out to you.
But however, you can just, what you can do, it is, some people have just seen this thing that you tap the screen. Sometimes you always tap. You understand? But it is a matter of you leaving the phone there. If you have to, you put it there, and then you can earn 20,000 or 50,000. It depends on how you want. So
okay.
Just have to be having what?
Okay. So we can.
The last question. The last question was about the last thing was about is AI making people dumb, or I think it's a matter of us knowing what we want. If AI could be put on much expenses, for example, using it, you have to pay maybe $100. People could actually, less people that can afford $100 or $50,000 to use. So I think that can actually limit so that the people that can restore over.
Okay, so as we move on to the next panels to respond to your question, I know that there are mixed reactions from his points, but after here we have other house conversations. So,
Okay, still responding to the question that Ibra was responding to, is AI going to make us dumb or more wiser? He captured on the aspect of what, and mine is how are we using it? Because, for example, I have a friend who has a Gemini boyfriend. Anytime she is having cramps, she usually tells me, I'm chatting with my Gemini boyfriend. How is he helping you? It's not a real person. So are you stupid or are you wise? So how are we using this AI? Are we using it for our benefit, or it's gonna make us even to be more stupid at the end of it? Or we know the judgment.
wow, things are happening. Gemini boyfriend. Did you hear that? Okay, we proceed to the last one.
Okay, thank you so much. There are two sides. Actually, some people will be dumb, others will be wise. And that is the way we go in everything. We cannot expect everybody to be wise or everybody to be dumb. Like my colleagues have said, I am very sure most of us are using the free AI tools right now. The premium one, only a few people are using it for their own benefit. So there are a lot of challenges that will make others not to continue and others will be there. And for those who will use it, like spirit and all that, and their soul, they take it as everything, they will definitely be done. But for me, I will not use it that way. I want to be wise and using it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Benjamin. A round of applause for our panel. Yeah, I want to thank you, Elem, Ibraheem, Doris, and Benjamin for joining us for this particular Afro Liberty Talks episode. For those of you who are following us online, the conversation is still going. Please bring the conversation in the comment section, and those of you here who still have questions, you can go on YouTube and search African Justice Media. This episode is going to be uploaded today, and we shall start the conversation from there. I want also to thank you, our live episode. I think this is the second time for us to have a live episode. Last time was in Nairobi, Kenya, at a regional conference, and this is the second one, meaning you are so special audience, and we want to meet you in the next episode. For those of you who are following us online, please don't forget to share this conversation online and tell us, what do you think about the future of work? What do you think about the future of AI in Africa? And are you threatened as a young person that AI is going to take your work, or you're optimistic that it's going to create millions of opportunities? Thank you very much. I remain George Justice Kanyihamba, the host of Afro Liberty Talks. See you soon.